So the next thing I want to talk about is throughput accounting or throughput costing, okay, and the theory of constraints. Now, this concept is very important for your study management accounting because literally every night you can get questions coming from here as part of your models of evaluation. Now, let's understand the theory of constraints. Do you know that sometimes you can have limited factors of production? Do you know that? You know that
Yes.
have limited factors of production, or even if your factors of production are not limited, there might be one process in your organization which is slowing other processes down. Do you understand? So for instance, let's take this organization that makes clothes, right? Show me which process is slowing all the processes down. So we have the designing department, right? We have designing department, which can design 500 clothes, right? Then from designing, these clothes have to move to cutting, right? Where they cut fabric. It has to move to cutting department, right? And cutting department can only cut 400 pieces a day. Then it moves to what? Joining department, or let's say the packing department. And these people can only pack 250 at a time. Then finally it comes to the finishing. Now the finishing department can only finish 50 units of the clothes a day. Which of these processes do you think is slowing the whole production process down? Which one becomes
The cutting.
Which one is slowing down the whole process?
Finishing.
It's finishing. Do you know why it's finishing? If I design 500 and I send it to cutting will only finish 400, right? So it means 100 is left. They cannot finish. Okay. Now, even if I send all the 400 to packing, they can only do 250 out of it. Meboa. True or false?
True.
Now, if I send all the 250 that I've packed to finish, they can only do 50 at a time. So it means that all the 200 left will be waste because it is limited to 50, meaning to limit all these processes to 50 because throughput accounting works in a just-in-time system. It means that we do not keep stock. Do you understand? That's why I taught you just-in-time. Because it works in a just-in-time system, it means that we can't keep stock. So that 100 that will be left over from here, we cannot keep it. It's waste. Do you understand? So we have to make sure that if 50 is all this guy can produce, how can we still maximize profit under that 50? To make sure that, okay, if 50 is limiting, then all of them should produce 50 so that 50 is what we'll finish. Does that make sense to all of you? So that process that slows down all the other processes is what we call the bottleneck resource. What did I say?
Bottleneck resource.
So the bottleneck resource is the one that slows down all the processes. Okay. And the bottleneck, the reason why we call it bottleneck is that when you look at a bottle, right? If this is a bottle and you are pouring water, you see the water will rush. It will rush a lot, right? But when it gets here, you see that it slows down. Have you noticed? True or false?
True.
You're pouring water from a bottle. All here, it rushes, right? But when it gets here, it takes time to flow. So there's something that's slowing down the process. That is why we call it the bottleneck resource, because it is regarded as a limiting factor. It limits your ability to produce. Do you get it? Because we are in a just-in-time environment, we don't leave overstock. So let's try another one. So let's come to this machine, right? We have machines in our organization. Now we have machine 1, okay? That takes approximately 40 hours to produce. Then the product will now move to machine number 2, okay? Which will take 30 hours to produce. Then it comes to machine number 3, which takes 12 hours to produce, okay? Now, which is the bottleneck resource? Which is slowing down the whole process down?
Machine number 3.
Do you all agree? Think well. When it comes to
Machine number 1.
when it comes to machines, we are looking at efficiency. Which one is not efficient?
Machine number 1.
Yes, it's machine number 1, but I'm asking which one is not efficient? Efficiency means you use less hours. You see how the thing can be twisted. Though so this one is not unit, so it's machines. So we want the product to go out quickly, but this machine will take time. You waste all 40 hours before it goes through these systems. It means that this one is slowing everybody down. True or false? True or false?
True.
True. So before we
True.
and then it will get here. Maybe we only had what should I even use? Okay, we only have 50 hours available, and this guy alone is using 40. It means that at the end of the day, he's slowing the whole process down. Do you understand? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Does it make
Yes, sir.
Let's try another one. Let's go to a hospital, right? Okay, so the hospital, we have the OPD, right? Then we have consultation room. We have consultation room. Then we have maybe the ward or the dispensary or the pharmacy. Okay, let's say everybody who comes to the hospital goes to the pharmacy. So let's say OPD receives 50 patients during the day. Now, those 50 patients, the doctor can only see 20 of them. And the pharmacy can only take 10 people at a time. Which one is slowing the process down? Which one is the bottleneck resource? Let's use the 10.
Pharmacy.
The pharmacy. Because at the end of the day, even if doctor takes care of 20 people, only 10 people can be accepted at the pharmacy, right? So that becomes a bottleneck resource. Did you get the concept of the theory of constraints?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that you understand, let's take a proper question and let's see if you guys can answer. All right. So let's go and take one past question. Everything I teach you are all questions. So this thing you see, it is a question. You take it very serious. I hope you take it very serious. I hope you take.
Yes, sir.
So let's go to management accounting, April 2022. Yeah, I believe it came that date. I don't remember. Let's just give it a try. I believe that date is when it came. Let me see. Yeah, I believe so. Pinkabi Hospital. Yeah, that's it. Let's check and see. So who read for us?
I'll read.
Okay. Required.
Question 2.
Fine.
Okay, required. With appropriate computations, evaluate and assess the bottleneck resources at Pinkabi Hospital. II. Suggest 3 ways by which the turnaround time can be reduced at the hospital.
Very nice question. Now let's check. You can start.
The Pinkabi Hospital serves a community with a population of about 20,000. For outpatient department services, there are 3 basic stages to seeing the doctor, which have been described below. Stage 1, records. This is where files of patients are kept. On arrival, a patient presents the identity card together with the National Health Insurance Scheme card. There are 2 biometric verification machines to confirm the validity of the card and recording of basic personal data on the claim forms. The process takes approximately 10 minutes per machine. Workers here work from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Stage 2, vitals. Here, vital personal information about the patient's current health status is checked. That is temperature, pulse, blood pressure, weight, and sugar levels. There is 1 machine with 5 nurses. It takes some 6 minutes for 1 patient to go through the process. The unit also works from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Stage 3, consultation. There are 6 doctors who run 6-hour shifts a day. Each doctor spends an average of 15 minutes to see a patient. The community has been complaining about the turnaround period and blames it on the incompetence of the nurses to the extent that sometimes patients stay in queues for long hours and return home unattended to.
Consultation, they said what? There are 6 doctors, 6-hour shifts a day. Each doctor spends an average of processing time of how much? Processing time of 15 minutes, right, per patient. Okay, they said it's the incompetence of the nurses, but let's see who is actually slowing the process down. Can we? We have to work. Okay, so I've listed the stages. Stage 1 is what? Records. Then we come to what? Vital checking, right? Where we check your vitals, just like a normal hospital. Then you go to consultation. Think if you have the management accountant in a hospital, you have to be looking at this, right? So what we just learned, let's put it to practice. All right. So let's see. Let's see if we can see how many minutes or hours are spent. Since it's in minutes, you can work in minutes, you can work in hours. If you want, 60 minutes make 1 hour. So you can take it over 60 if you want to work in hours. Are you getting it? Or convert the hours to minutes, whatever you want to do. That will still help you out. So since it's minutes, the records take about 10 minutes, right? Per patient. Now, let's start with records. It says what? There are 2 biometric verification machines to confirm the validity of the card and the recording of basic personal data on the claim forms. It takes 10 minutes per machine, right? And the workers are there from 6 a.m. to 4 a.m. How many hours overall? Count. Or you take counters to the exam hall. Let's count. This question will be fun.
Say 10 hours.
10 hours. So they use 10 hours. Okay, 10 hours. Okay, so 10. Why am I using this? So it was 10 hours, right? Okay, so if 10 hours, let's convert it to minutes. How do we convert 10 hours? Each hour is 60 minutes, right? So if we multiply this by the 10, how many minutes do we have? How many minutes will we end up having? I just want everything.
600.
That means 600 minutes during the day, right? These guys work for 600 minutes, okay? So we are saying that, fine. Each person, each patient spends how much? 10 minutes, right? Okay.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. For each machine, right? And there are 2 machines, true or false? So it means that approximately 20 minutes, right? True or false?
Yes.
True. We'll spend 20 minutes for what? For each machine. No, so if we'll spend 20
minutes.
If we'll
Say
spend
20 minutes for each patient.
for each patient, sorry, 2 machines, so 20 minutes per patient, sorry. We'll spend 20. So if we are going to spend 20 minutes and we are working for 10 hours, how many minutes would we have spent in the whole 6? So you are literally saying that if 20 minutes, are you getting it? Is for 1 patient. Okay, if you like, you can work overall for all the minutes that were spent, right? For the number of periods, you can decide to work everything per patient, so you know whether this one is taking this number of patients or this number of patients all the time. It depends on how you want to work. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
So mostly when management accounting questions are given, one thing I mostly want students to be looking at is they have to examine it based on how they grab the concept, okay? So if you look at it from the perspective of how you understand the concept, you realize that things will start to fall into place. Do you get what I mean? So first of all, you are saying that, okay, you use 20 minutes, and this 20 minutes is within an hour. Not so. So basically, if you are using 20 minutes each time, 20 minutes is within an hour. You are using 20 minutes each time, and then you work for 10 hours. It means 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes are 10 hours. Meaning, how many hours would we have used overall?
200.
200.
We would have used 200 hours. 200 minutes, sorry. No, so it means that overall, the clients spend 200 minutes in the OPD for their records. Do you get it? So that is the spending time. But if you want to get the number of patients, you can say, okay, if 20 minutes is for one patient, then how many patients would have been processed during that time? And that will be what? If more, divide.
Let's divide.
So 600 will be what? To be more. So 600 out of 20 times 1. That gives us the number of patients who would have stayed there. And that will be what? 600 out of 20. That means they can process 30 patients. Are you getting it? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure it makes sense?
Sir, please go over again, please.
You see, that's one thing about management accounting, business acumen. So, stage 1. Right? 1. 2 machines, right? But each machine, we spend 10 minutes. And the company works for what? 10 hours. So at the end of the day, how many would we have? We end up with 200 what? Minutes, right? Overall. True or false? Do you get it now?
So what would we have converted the 200 minutes, the 10 hours into minutes before getting the 200 minutes?
No, this one is within an hour. So you are saying that these 2 machines is for 10 minutes, right? And this 10 minutes is within an hour. And we have 10 hours. So see, it's 10 minutes per hour. And we have 10 hours. Oh, so
Yeah, I get it now. Yeah.
it's mathematics. So 200 minutes. So if 200 minutes is the processing time at stage 1, the same way, you can convert this to minutes or hours so that you don't get confused. So you're saying they work 10 hours, and 10 hours, we know each hour is 60 minutes, right? So 10 by the 60, it means that they work for 600 hours. So if they work for 600 minutes, then each client who spends only 20 minutes, we know 20 minutes is for just one patient, right? Who goes through the 2 machines. Then 600 minutes will be what? It will be more. So if more, let's divide. So number of patients processed during this will be what? That will be 600 times 1. So that means they'll end up processing 30 patients at a time. True or false?
True.
Do you guys get it now?
Yeah, I've gotten the concept here.
So now let's go to stage 2. When we go to stage 2, what does it say? Now we've moved from records. Stage 2 says what? Here, vital information about the patient's current status is checked. Temperature, pulse, blood pressure, weight, and sugar levels. And there's one machine with 5 nurses. And it takes 6 minutes for one patient to go through the process. And the unit also works from 6 to 4. Do you get it? So here, it's only one machine. So there's no need to multiply by any machine, right? But it says 6 minutes for one patient to go through the process. So how would the multiplication be? I want to test people's minds.
1 by
By
so
6,
1 by 6
by 10.
by 10.
Why didn't we bring the 5 nurses?
But this is a machine. We are looking at the time spent. Oh, yes.
So related. You see here, there are two machines, right? And the process takes 10 minutes per machine. So you multiply by number of machine minutes. Here it was what? One machine. Are you getting it? 5 nurses. But they didn't talk about nurses in the question. They talked about 6 minutes to go through the process. You get the idea. So learn to relate. That's management accounting. You don't just multiply. Take your time, understand. So nurses were just put there, but it's not necessary, right? So you are literally saying that, okay, so one machine, right? You spend 6 minutes on that machine, but this 6 minutes is within every hour, right? But we work for 10 hours. So in that case, how many minutes would have been spent during the vital section?
60 minutes.
You would have spent an hour, right? You would have spent 60 minutes during that period. Is that okay? Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How am I getting sorted? Hmm. 60 minutes. One machine. That is one machine, 60 minutes, 10. I think we have to convert to, because 66, this is 6 minutes. 6 minutes out of 60, like 10 hours. We have to convert. We have to convert. Do you know why I'm saying we have to convert? Because here you are saying that they will spend 6 minutes, right? 6 minutes during the process by this 10 hours. So the first one that we were saying, yes, it's supposed to be, because it's by 60, right? This is by 60, giving us that 600 minutes. But here we didn't multiply by the 60. Do you agree?
Sir, the 60, the 10 by the 60 with the first one was when we were looking for the number per patients.
Yes, the reason why I'm saying that we have to convert is because this is in hours and we are working in minutes.
Okay.
I left it at hours. It should have been in minutes. So it means we should have multiplied by the 60 minutes.
By the 60 minutes, yeah.
Or still, it's not clear to people. I think I made a mistake there. Or what do you guys think? Opinion?
Yeah, we have to, if it's in minutes, make sure we have to work in minutes. If it's in hours and want to work in hours, then we can change the minutes to hours and work with the hours.
Okay. I believe everybody is okay. So let's, oh, why am I moving this? Let's rework it. Oh. I don't know why my eraser is not working. I don't know. Let me see. It's not working. Okay. So stage 1, right? So let's see. Stage 1. Let's put the data down. So 2 machines, right? 2 machines, which work how much? 10 minutes per machine also. 10 minutes per machine, okay? Now, how many hours? Hours operated? Hours operated is what? 10 hours, no so. All right. So let's convert these hours to minutes. That will be what? Total minutes.
600.
Okay. Total minutes will be 10 hours by what?
60.
By 60. And that's how many minutes overall?
600.
Okay. So 600 minutes. Okay, 600 minutes. So we got the 600 minutes earlier, right? Okay. So you are saying that, okay, this is 600 minutes overall. No, so by two machines. No, so. So if possible, you are saying that, okay, so if you are working 600 minutes during the period with those 2 machines, then how many minutes would you have used? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because take 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes each time. If you are working within 600 minutes, right, for the machines, how many minutes would you have worked overall? Or it's not clear? It's not clear.
Says clear.
I'm saying that if we are working 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes out of this 600, now because waiting for 10 hours during the period, and we have 2 machines, it means that those machines will work 10 hours each. True or false? That is what I'm saying. So literally, you are saying that, okay, this 600 minutes that you are working, right, would have also worked for for each of the machines. Anamibwa.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, so it should
For
have
me,
1,200.
1,200.
That's what occurred to me. Because if we are saying that, okay, these 2 machines is 10 minutes on the machine, okay, this 10 minutes still fit into that 600 because 10 minutes, you bet me 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes each time. Do you understand?
Okay, yeah.
Because even if we are working within that 600 minutes, still those minutes that we have still fits there. Or it doesn't fit there. It still fits, right? So it means that at the end of the day, we still have 1,200 minutes available during the whole day for those 2 machines. No, so you are saying that, okay, if one client uses 20 minutes, you know why it's 20 minutes? Because it's 10 minutes per machine times the 2 machines. Then how many clients would use that 1,200 minutes that we saw? Instead of 600, 600 will only be for 1 machine. Do you get it? That means now I can take the 1,002 divided by what, the 20, and then I get the number of clients. So how many clients would that be? How many clients are processed?
60.
You're saying that is 60 clients. So 60 clients would have to be processed. Do you get the idea?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we look at the other one. The next one. Oh, why is my this thing working like this? We look at the other one. The one was what? Vitals, right? Okay. And they also work 10 hours. So the vital section works for 10 hours. So 10 hours, we convert it to minutes, right? So 10 hours by what? 60 minutes. How many minutes? Means overall, they also have
600 minutes.
They also have 600 minutes. Okay. 600 minutes. So 600 minutes. Each one takes 6 minutes. Each one takes 6 minutes out of the 600 minutes that is available. So if each one takes 6 and there's only one machine, that means overall we will be working within that. So you are saying that if one patient works within what, 6 minutes, right? Then how many patients would have worked within what? The 600 minutes. How many patients? It will be 600 out of 6, right? Times the 1. How many?
100.
100 patients, right?
100. Yes.
That means we would have gotten 100 patients to vitals. But then when we look up there, how many patients went? Only 60 patients went here, but 100 patients can come here, okay? Then we go to the doctor section. Consultation. It says what? There are 6 doctors who run 6-hour shifts a day. And each doctor spends 15 minutes of their time to see a patient. So we have 6 doctors, right? Who work for what? 6 hours, true or false? And 6 hours, if we convert it to 3 by 60, that means the doctors have how many hours available? How many minutes available? So 6 doctors working,
360.
they have 160 minutes available, right? Okay. But then they take what? If this 160 minutes is for some patients we don't know, but we know that one patient takes how much from the doctor?
15.
15 minutes, right? So you are saying that, okay, then the 160 out of the 15 times the 1 patient gives us the number of patients that the doctor needs to see, right? And how many patients would that be during the day? 160 divided by 15. That means the doctors can see 144 patients. Not so. Okay. So if we are supposed to do it very well, you are saying that, okay, the OPD takes how many patients? The OPD can only take 60 patients. Then they move to what? Vitals. And vitals could only take how many patients?
100.
Was it 60? Yes, it can take 100 patients at a time. Then you go to doctors. Doctors can also look at what?
144.
Well, so which one is the bottleneck process? Which one is slowing down the whole process?
OPD.
OPD.
OPD is limiting the ability of these people. Since only 60 people can be processed at a time, it means only 60 can go, and only what, 100 can also go here. But since we only have 60 and we don't have any leftovers, it means that this guy will force this guy to only do 60, will force this guy to only do what? 60 as well. True or false? So the OPD becomes the bottleneck resource. I hope it wasn't a bad exercise, but you have to think. Do you get? Any question? So how do you think we can reduce turnaround time in the company?
Then we can increase the verification machine.
Number of verification machines, yeah.
We can increase the number of verification machines. Is that all?
They have to run shifts.
And then increase the number of nurses.
Okay. We can increase the number of nurses. Is that all?
Or running of shifts.
Okay, they can run shifts. Is that all?
The hospital can also inform the citizens or the community that in each day we can take this number of, let's say 60. So if we come after, if the number is up to 60, we take no more. Once they are aware, when it's 60, people will not come around.
Okay. That's true. So they can even do overtime, right? People can do overtime.
Increase the number of hours they work.
Of course, that can also be done, but at what cost? That is it. Okay. So that was a bit about the theory of constraints. Now, when it comes to throughput accounting, right? Throughput is basically the profit you make, right? So before we go into throughput, let's look at marginal costing. Let's look at marginal costing and throughput accounting. What's the difference? Now, under marginal costing, how do we get profit? We get profit by taking sales, right? And then we less what? Sales minus
All variable costs.
then we come and get what?
Contribution.
Contribution, right? Okay. And we know variable cost is direct material, direct
Direct labor, direct expenses.
overhead, right? These are all variable costs and any other variable costs to get contribution, right? Then we now less what? Fixed.
Fixed.
Okay, to get what?
First of
Operating profit, right?
you get the profit.
Okay. Now, this is marginal costing. Now, the difference between marginal costing seeks to maximize contribution, okay? Now, throughput accounting or throughput costing seeks to maximize throughput. Because we work in a just-in-time environment, the main focus is the stock. Do you know that? I told you just-in-time environment, no stock. Do you remember? So under throughput, the assumption is that we are in a just-in-time environment. And because of that, stock is the most important cost. It is the only variable cost because depending on how I order from the suppliers, that will tell how much stock I'm getting at each time. Do you understand? So here, the only difference between throughput and marginal costing is that under throughput, material cost is the only variable cost. What did I say?
That's
Under
true.
throughput,
Material
material cost is only
the only
variable
variable
cost.
cost.
Yes. So if you get a question that involves throughput accounting, they may require you to compute the optimum production plan and maximum possible profit based on either marginal costing or throughput accounting. Throughput, we seek to maximize throughput. Throughput is your contribution under throughput, which is sales minus material cost. Okay, not sales minus variable cost, because throughput, only material costs are considered variable. Labor and all other costs are considered as operating or factory costs because they are incurred to convert material into finished goods or semi-finished goods. So they call them conversion costs, operating expenses, or factory expenses. Is that right? So under throughput, sales minus material to give you throughput return, right? So you can call it throughput return or throughput. Since you are used to contribution, let me call it throughput contribution, right? And I told you the main goal of throughput accounting is to maximize throughput, while the goal of marginal costing is to maximize what? Contribution. Do you understand? So throughput aims to maximize what? Throughput contribution, while marginal costing aims to maximize what? Contribution. Do you understand it? So in that case, this one, we will less our conversion cost, right? Or our factory cost or operating expenses, right? Then we arrive at what? The net profit or operating profit. Do you guys get the idea? So is it not the same? They are just the same, but the only difference is that here we use all variable costs. Here we only use material cost. Is that clear to everyone? Is that clear? Have you noted the difference?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. Once you have noted the difference, I want to talk about performance measurement under throughput accounting. Now, when we are looking at performance measurement in throughput accounting, we use something we call the throughput accounting ratio. I said we use something we call what?
The throughput accounting.
So the throughput accounting ratio tells how profitable your product is. So when your throughput accounting ratio is greater than 1, it means that product is profitable, right? When the throughput accounting ratio is less than 1, it means that product is loss-making, right? It means that you cannot maximize throughput. You cannot cover all the factory costs, okay? Understand this. So how do you get your throughput accounting ratio? Your throughput accounting ratio is your throughput contribution per hour or per bottleneck resource. So this is your throughput contribution of the bottleneck resource. So throughput contribution per bottleneck So for every 1 unit of bottleneck resource, right? How much contribution do you make? All over the conversion cost or the factory expenses, right? Also available for every bottleneck resource available, per bottleneck resource. This is how we get it. And one thing I want you as students to get is that if the throughput accounting ratio is greater than 1, the product is profitable. If the throughput accounting ratio is less than 1, the product is what? Loss-making. Is that clear to everyone? Put it down and let's explain how to get it. So in that case, our throughput contribution per bottleneck, as we see there, is just getting your throughput contribution per unit. Okay, just get your contribution per unit, throughput contribution per unit over the number of bottleneck hours, right? Over the number of bottleneck hours per unit. So mostly the bottleneck will be in hours. So the number of bottleneck hours per unit, right? That's how you get it. Then the next is what? Your factory cost per bottleneck, right? Factory costs per bottleneck. And that gives us a total factory cost over our total available bottleneck hours, right? Okay, so put this down. When it comes to performance management under throughput accounting, these are the rules you need. And I know if you look at it like this, you won't understand. When we start taking illustrations, it will now make sense. Are we okay? Okay. I think there's a nice question here, so we can try it and see. Please, are you there? Have you written it down? But I hope it was well understood.
Sir, please, a few minutes.
Are we done now? Are we done now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's see something. They tell us that Drogo uses throughput accounting technique for efficient allocation of scarce resources. In the second quarter of 2021, the throughput per bottleneck resource for its 3 products are given below. So you see that they have given us the throughput per bottleneck hours, right? They've already given it to us. So we know throughput accounting ratio is what? The throughput return or the throughput contribution per bottleneck, right? True or false? All the factory cost, right? Operating cost per what? Per bottleneck. True or false? Okay. So the throughput contribution per bottleneck, I think they've given it to us for each product, right? So throughput contribution per bottleneck for all the bottleneck hours, they've given it to us. So we had how many products? We had product A, product B, and product C. They've given the throughputs per bottleneck to us as what? How much did they give to us? Give me the figures. A was how much?
We have 4 CDs. See, 4 CDs.
B was,
Oh,
and C was 9 CDs, right?
B is 6 CDs.
This guy was 9 CDs. Okay.
9 CDs.
Now the next thing we need is what? Factory costs per bottleneck, right? So we need our factory cost.
The throughput.
We need our cost per bottleneck. And factory cost per bottleneck, that is the total factory cost, right? Total factory costs. Total factory costs. Why? Total factory costs all over our available bottleneck hours, right? Available bottleneck hours. Okay. So how much was our total factory cost? They said it was how much?
67,500.
57,500.
Because these are assumed to be fixed cost, it will be stable across all products, right? But how many hours are available?
15,000.
So we have 15,000 machine hours available.
15,000.
Okay. So it means that how much is our factory cost per bottleneck?
What is 50 pesos?
4 CDs, 60 pesos per
50. What is 50 pesos?
50 pesos per machine hour. This is 4 CD per machine hour. This is 6 CDs per machine hour. This was also 9 CDs per what? Per machine hour, not so. Okay. They've told us that the bottleneck is machine hours. Machine hours are in shortage. That's what it means. So in that case, let's get our throughput accounting ratio. We know this is A over B. So if we call this A, call this B. This is A over B, right? Okay. For product A, what's our throughput accounting ratio? It becomes our throughput return of 4 CDs all over the 4.5. True or false? Do you all get it? Because we said throughput accounting ratio is our throughput per bottleneck all over factory cost per bottleneck. Now we got throughput per bottleneck as 4 CDs, 6 CDs, and 9 CDs per machine hour. And the total factory cost per bottleneck is also 4.5 per machine hour. So we are just dividing this by this by this, and this by this. Is that okay? Is that okay now?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
4 over the 4.5 gives us what? That
0.9.
right? So this product is loss-making. Do you all agree?
Yeah.
Because throughput accounting ratio, I told you when it's greater than 1, the product is profitable, right? If it's 1, the product is loss-making. So is this product profitable or loss-making?
Loss-making.
Loss-making. So we go to B. Okay, product B.
1.33.
That one was what? 6 over
6 divided by
5, right? This would be profitable. We had 1.333, right?
Yeah.
This is profitable, okay? All right. Then C. Product C was 9 out of 4.5. That would be
Giving us 2.046.
This one too is profitable, right? Okay.
Yeah.
You have a list of products, you have to rank them. So which one is the highest in profitability?
Product C.
I think when we have to rank, C will be first, right?
Yeah.
B will be second, not so. And A will be the third or last in ranking. So if we want to produce, we'll end up producing which one first? C first, then we go and produce B, then finally A is loss making, we will not produce at all. So it's between C and B. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Was it difficult? We'll try more examples. Shall we? Shall we?
We can.
So let's see. Who will read for me? Assuming that what? Question 3, throughput accounting ratio. Who will read and let's go?
I'm reading. Question 3. Assuming that a company manufactures a single product, each unit of product takes 2 hours to make on machine X, and output capacity is restricted by available time on machine X, which is restricted to 500 hours per week. The product has a material cost of 20 cedis per unit and sells for 160 cedis per unit. Total operating costs are 30,000 per week. Required. What is the throughput accounting ratio?
So the very first thing you get when you're doing throughput every time is to determine the throughput or to determine the bottleneck resource. And sometimes the question will tell you straightforward. If not, you have to calculate it. So we haven't got to decision making with throughput yet. Okay. So now we are just doing the throughput accounting ratio. So determine the bottleneck resource is the first thing. And the question said, what is the bottleneck resource? They told us. They said what? Output capacity is restricted by the machine time, right?
Machine time.
So it means that from the question, or as stated in the question, machine X hours, right? Machine X hours is the bottleneck resource. True or false? True or false?
True.
So we know that. So in that case, they said what? The bottleneck resource or the bottleneck hours is what? The bottleneck hours per unit was how much? For every unit we produce, the bottleneck hours, is it not 2 hours?
2 hours.
It's 2 hours per unit, okay. But they said the product has what? Material cost of 20 and sales of 160. So what's our throughput contribution per unit? How do we get throughput contribution per unit? Yes, my people. What's the formula?
The sales minus
minus
the material.
Material
material
cost.
Sales minus material cost. Okay.
You wait. Let's finish it and then you drink, okay?
Our throughput contribution per unit to become what? The sales, which was 160 per unit, minus our material cost of 20 cedis per unit, right? So that gives us how much? 140 cedis per unit, right? Is it clear? Is it correct? Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can see per unit. You can see from here. So it is telling us that, okay, if we want our throughput return or our throughput contribution per machine X hours, right? What would it be? We are finding our throughput per bottleneck. Now we know the bottleneck as machine X hours. So you are literally saying that, I get it. For 140 cedis per unit, okay, we must use 2 hours. So what if we just want to use 1 hour? How much contribution are we expected to get? And that is what we call the throughput contribution per machine hour. So you are literally saying that, okay, if for 2 hours, every 2 hours that I work, I can generate contribution, throughput contribution of 140, then it wouldn't be fair to all other products. Why? Because there will be different hours, right? So to be constant across board, I want to see what 1 hour alone can generate me. Does that make sense? So assuming I work only 1 hour, worked using only one machine X hour, how much contribution would I have generated? And that is what we call the throughput contribution per machine hour, per bottleneck. Does that make sense? So in simple terms, you are saying that therefore, our throughput per machine X hour will become what? You get the whole idea. If more, it will be less, right? If less, more divides. True or false? True or false?
True.
Means that you
True.
have 140 cedis per unit, right? Over what? 2 hours per unit.
2 hours.
So
Yes.
that this gives us what? 70 cedis per hour.
70.
No, so that means that, okay, if for 2 hours you are getting 140, then 1 hour will definitely get what? Is it not 70?
70.
Now, what do we need? We need our factory costs per what? Per machine X hours available, right? Okay. So the total factory cost was what?
30,000
Okay, it was 30,000 per what?
per week.
Okay, so you now ask yourself, how many hours are available per week? Was there hours available per week?
500 hours.
500 hours, also per week. So you see, we relate like term, per unit, per week, right? So 500 hours per week. Is this thing difficult? Everything in management accounting is not difficult. It just needs practice. So that means this one gives us what? 60 cedis per hour, right? Per machine X hour. Okay. So now we know this is our throughput return. This is our factory return. If we should put them together, our throughput accounting ratio will be what? It will be what? Give me.
1.17.
Oh, you have to give me the formula. How will it be? It will be what over what? 70 cedis.
70 over 60.
70 over.
That gives us what?
1.17.
1.17. This is greater than 1, right? So is it profitable? Yes, it is. Are we okay? Profitable product. So if they ask you, should a company invest in this product? Is it a yes or a no?
Yes.
It's a yes.
So comment, the company should consider making this product, right? Making this product because it generates what? A throughput accounting ratio, which is greater than 1, right? Signifying the ability to cover all factory costs, and still leave about 17% of factory costs as profits. It doesn't mean you have to take mine and adopt yours. Right. All right. So that was it. So the next thing is the decision-making part of throughput accounting, right? Which I've shared the video with you already. Go through the page, watch them. In our next meeting, we are going to solve one full throughput. Try the questions, okay? The questions in throughput. I've given you some. Try them here. You see here, it says what? Use short-term material cost, okay? Throughput, then use variable cost, right? Interpret the throughput accounting ratio. So try the questions, right? Just try the questions. And I believe by trying these questions, throughput accounting will become very easy. I told you this, that throughput accounting will be coming. Yes, it will come. Okay. So you try the questions. Next week when we meet, we'll try one of these questions. We'll solve this one. Happy now. Very detailed question where there's a bottleneck machine. Okay. So you try your hands on them. I believe you'll be fine. What the videos on throughput accounting that I posted on your page, try your hands on them, right? I'll share this video as well as the one I recorded earlier. And then in our next meeting, we'll finish throughput, look at the other models of evaluation, benchmarking, value chain, re-engineering, environmental management, accounting, you know, all those theory, cost reduction, cost control. We look at all those theories, right? And I believe you should be fine. Then after that, we'll move to budgeting. We'll come and look at variances. We'll look at decision making, short term, long term. Then we look at performance. Then we are done. Are we okay? So you'll be fine. Don't worry. But you should practice. All right. So that brings us to the end of our session. I believe you have learned something today. Any question? Okay. Okay, since we don't have any question, we call it a day. So those doing FR and corporate reporting, I'll see you at 6 p.m. for our consolidation.